Only 2 tickets to the final remain. Coming up, our last qualifying group begin the competition, taking on some of the most grueling events the sport has ever seen. For one man, the 4-time champion from Lithuania, Žydrūnas Savickas, returning after a 1-year absence, he seeks to take back the crown, winning a record-breaking 5th title. First, he must dominate the other competitors in group number 5. With the return of Nick Best to the USA and Great Britain's Terry Hollands, 2 formidable opponents, his quest will not be easy. The continuation of the Corgenics World's Strongest Man begins now.
Botswana, the shining light of sub-Saharan Africa. It's a wildlife paradise with a thriving democracy and one of the economic leaders of this region. And its booming capital city of Gaborone is the gracious host for this year's premier strongman championship. Here at Botswana's Parliament building, a beautiful day for the start of Group 5's competition with what has proven to be one of the toughest events, the load and drag.
Which is a grueling 2-part event where the athletes will be asked to move a couple of 245-pound sacks down the 10-meter course. But then the fun begins when they drag a mining cart weighing 683 pounds as far as they can.
3 of the 6 athletes of Group 5 make their way to the start line.
Please welcome in lane 1
Oluwatofunmi, a professional bodyguard from Nigeria. Peiman Maheripour here, another rookie, 29 years old from Iran. And Bryan Benzel, the 6'2", 328-pound American.
Ready!
American Bryan Benzel, he's in the near lane. Peiman Maheripour here is in the middle lane, and Oluwatofunmi in the far lane.
Peiman out quick, showing you his athleticism moving in space. As you see at the top, Fadesire really struggling to get that second sack there. He's got a lot of work to get back into this race.
Hey, Bryan Benzel doing a heck of a job, but here's Peiman in that middle lane. He's got a slight edge on Benzel right here.
You see a couple of the different techniques here. The strongmen have really been struggling to find that sweet spot. It's almost like the 3 little bears as we see Peiman lose his footing there. You don't want to be too tall, you don't want to be too low. You want to be in the middle so it's just right when you pull this 683-pound cart.
Bryan Benzel trying to take advantage of the slip by Peiman, but you know what? Peiman has rebounded nicely.
Yeah, you see Benzel doing the long power pulls versus the short explosive pulls that Peiman is doing that are working so effectively.
Final 5 seconds. Doesn't look like anybody's going to get to the line, but who's going to set that mark to beat? Time's up, and Peiman Maheripour here in the middle lane wins the heat. He dragged it 7.62 meters.
And he's fired up and should be. He started quickly and finished strong despite that bobble. Maheripour here looking to make a statement.
The second set of athletes from Group 5 about to start the competition. Nick Best from the United States, his 8th World's Strongest Man appearance. Terry Hollands, a 9-time World's Strongest Man finalist from Great Britain. And Big Z, Žydrūnas Savickas, the 4-time World's Strongest Man champion from Lithuania. Savickas in the near lane, Hollands middle lane, the American Nick Best in the far lane.
Yeah, all 3 of these athletes have very interesting stories. We're seeing Terry Hollands, who didn't feel like he was in very good shape a year ago, looking very impressive here early.
Nick Best strong in that far lane as well. Here we go, there's a pretty good heat between all 3 guys.
There was a time where Žydrūnas Savickas was the most powerful lifter in the world. Anything static, anything having to do with immense strength, he dominated. Looks like he's got the right vertical technique right here, but it's Terry Hollands in that big mass that is just yanking this cart down the course.
Terry Hollands, and now Savickas goes down, which gives Best an opportunity to get second in this heat. But Terry Hollands is the headliner in this event, the load and drag. What a start for him here in Group 5.
Nick Best in that far lane, half a century old, putting on a display. We know that Hollands has this one. Savickas just isn't going to have enough, I don't think, to be able to get further than Hollands. But one more yank by Hollands secures his victory as he gets it across the finish line.
You know, that's a heck of a job by Hollands to kind of stop down and measure it out to see exactly how much time he had and what he would need to do. He's the only person in the group to complete the course. And he does it in 1:14.92.
What I liked about Terry, what he did here, not only is a big body, and this is a big man's event, but it was the singular heave-ho motion of the coordinated movement that got it done.
That win gives a great start to the man from Great Britain, Terry Hollands. A four-time champion, Big Z is in second. And the USA's Nick Best is in third place. The athletes of Group 5 have moved to the Grand Palm Hotel and Casino for their second event, the squat lift.
Well, the entire lower body and back are going to get a workout in this one, as the strongmen will lift the bar containing a punishing 700-pound fixed weight as many times as possible in 60 seconds.
700 pounds, 4 athletes have gone. A three-way tie between Maheripour here, Hollands and Savickas, each squatting 5 reps. So that brings us, Aaron, to the American from Omaha, Nebraska. 30 years old, 328 pounds, stands 6'2". Bryan Benzel, he's in 5th place after one event, so he's got to get to work here.
He certainly does. He's got a pretty strong lower body. So here at the second trip at World's Strongest Man, I think that experience should help pay off.
This is his least favorite event. Again, the number to beat is 5, and he's got a nice rhythm early on.
And you notice he's barely touching the pads. A year ago, many of the strongmen tried to bounce it off the safety bars and paid dearly for it.
He has tied the mark at 5. It doesn't appear to be finishing anytime soon. Benzel, the American, into the lead. You see the blood on his lip, just an example of what this does to your body.
Just a tremendous amount of pressure and strain. And he gets that rep there. I think he's done. You notice how it kind of got off balance and he had to really fight to stabilize it. That extra energy is just too much. You see his taps his left leg there.
Bryan Benzel.
Pretty impressive showing with 8 reps.
Blood coming from his lip. This was hard-earned.
It certainly was, and if you doubted what this immense toll of a weight can do to a person's body, just look at the mouth and nose of Bryan Benzel.
Another American, the venerable veteran from Las Vegas. Nick Best, the oldest man in this group.
You happy, Nick?
No.
Ready?
He's got an excellent personality.
He certainly does. Judge Colin Bryce asking Nick if he's happy, and Nick jokingly said no. But, oh, man, look at that double bobble right there. That's going to cost some extra energy by Nick Best as he struggled to find the right depth.
Yes.
But he seems to be able to push right through it, looking strong here.
He circled the wagons, but you're right, early on that rep, he didn't go all the way to the pads.
He did some cross-training, carrying a shield at home for the elephant carry, and then would go right inside and do some squats for reps to get ready for this event. And Brent, I gotta tell you, it really looks like that cross-training is paying off.
Absolutely. The number to beat is 8, and he has tied it. Nick Best putting on a nice performance here. He's gonna call it quits right there. Heck of an effort by the 48-year-old.
8 repetitions from the United States, Nick Best.
Best told me earlier in the competition that he expected to do well in this event. He said the hardest thing about it is that big axle bar that doesn't rotate. He said you have to put it so far in your back that you fight it the entire time, but he found a way to get it done.
With 8 repetitions.
So the co-winners in the event with 8 reps, a couple of Americans, Best and Benzel here in the squat lift. Nick Best edged his way into first place, but just a half point ahead of Terry Hollands, who's fallen to second. Savickas may be in third, but only 1.5 points behind the leader. This race is tight. Up next, a World's Strongest Man Classic as the athletes take on Fingal's Fingers.
Fingal fingers.
My girlfriend Chelsea's here with me.
It's the first competition I've ever seen.
Definitely could be the X factor and be why I'm doing as well as I am.
And we're really happy, so I guess that does have something to do with it.
I've never done Fingal's fingers as an event. I never really touched one until familiarization a couple days ago.
I did judo. A lot of discipline, a lot of endurance work. That keeps me going. My group, I have as Žydrūnas Savickas. I think I got drawn into strongman through far back watching him doing all the strongman shows as on YouTube.
Oluwatofunmi!
I believe that I can win 5th title because I feel really strong.
Come on, Terry, move!
This is my 12th year. I've trained really hard this year. I've dropped around 44 pounds. You know, I feel like I'm in a much better place this year.
I injured my shoulder 3 months ago and it's not full recovered. And 4th figure, my arms was tired and I tried to push my shoulder.
Zydrunas! No! Zydrunas!
But referee this time said it's not allowed. It's good to compete again. Sure, I want to show better results.
I'm definitely sick. I have something wrong with me, and I really should be protected from myself sometimes. That makes fingers fun.
I had a feeling it'd be a good event for me. I'm a strong presser, which helps a lot. I wanted to get 4 fingers for sure. Really wasn't sure about the 5th at all. Kind of took a second, thought about it, and went, and it's gonna be a couple steps into it, I knew it was going over, so. First win at Worlds ever, so nothing to complain about there at all.
How well he's doing, you can't beat that.
Well, I'm just the type of person that most people here probably are the same way, that nothing's ever enough. So, you know, you win an event, but you want to win all the events.
So Bryan Benzel picks up his first win, the only athlete to flip all 5 fingers. Hollands in second, flipping 4. The remaining athletes each only flipped 3. Benzel's win in this event is helping him inch his way up the leaderboard, now in second place. Hollands has taken over the top spot. Still 4 athletes are within 2.5 points of each other. We've moved to the Baharutsi Cultural Lodge, just outside of the capital city of Gaborone, where the athletes will take on their 5th event, the axle press.
Now, the axle press weighs 358 pounds, and the strongmen will need to lift the axle off the ground and press it overhead with their arms extended, knees locked, their feet in line, and hold it momentarily for the rep to count.
2 athletes have competed so far. Peiman Maheripour here getting only 1 rep, making him the current leader.
Representing the United States, Nick Best!
Fadesire unable to get a single rep. 4 athletes remain, and up first, it's the American Nick Best.
I mean, it's incredible that he is this strong and competing this well at 48 years old. He's going against one of the world's strongest men, 4-time champion, Žydrūnas Savickas.
Žydrūnas Savickas!
This should be a high-powered combo here in the axle press.
Well, it's interesting, Brent. There's no question that Big Z is an incredibly strong presser there on the left. He just hasn't been himself so far through this competition. Battled the neck injuries, had some shoulder problems. Let's see how well he fares here.
There's 1, so he goes into the lead. Best was unable to lock it out, so he's going to have to go after it again.
He didn't momentarily pause at the top. Now, this isn't a weight that you just want to use your shoulders. You want to be able to get your hips in. But Big Z uses very little hips and shows you that pressing power we were talking about. Best is not going to be so lucky. He's got to give everything he has to get this to his chest and locked out overhead.
It's so challenging, Aaron, when when you do everything but lock it out on the first one, and then you got to come back. I mean, mentally, although he does rebound well and celebrates his one rep, Savickas unable to lock out a third.
And you see that lack of strength in his left shoulder and arm, unable to get that 358-pound axle overhead. Savickas has dominated in this event over the years.
Best is done at 1. Savickas is in sole possession, a lead with 2, but he's going to go after a third once again.
He gets it to his chest so easily and presses that one out.
Just in time. Just at the end of the clock. That could be key going forward, that he got that third in the nick of time, as Nick Best goes into a tie for second with that one rep and acknowledges his great crowd.
And how about Big Z, one of the sport's all-time best, 4-time champion. He may not be the same health-wise, but his heart and determination are as strong as they've ever been.
Certainly cannot question that. Back to the action, Terry Hollands. On the right from Great Britain, got off to a good start. He's the leader after 3 events, 6'6", 364. Bryan Benzel on a bit of a redemption tour after he struggled last year in his first ever trip to the world's strongest man. And he's off to a really nice start.
He's really done well here early on, making a nice comeback from the injury that hampered him a year ago.
The number to beat set by Savickas is 3, and there's Benzel able to lock out his first.
He looked extremely strong. Oh!
That right forearm, or it could be the bicep he's looking at. It is, it's his right bicep, and he immediately goes off the course as Hollands is also checking out after, well, he's just gonna get some sunglasses to help him to go after his first rep.
Maybe he's gonna get his cool and swag back to help him get his first rep. I have no idea what role the sun played in 358 pounds not being able to get pressed overhead, but I guess we're about to find out.
Whatever it takes to get him now, he's gonna try to get the crowd to help him out. Meantime, Benzel has walked off with an injury. 25 seconds left. Hollands still trying to get his first rep. Can't do it.
Glass's power didn't work. That 358 pounds got the better of him. Taking a look there, Bryan Benzel is forced to withdraw from the competition with a ruptured right bicep tendon. The second year in a row, Brent, he's had to battle through injuries. You see him getting that up to his chest, and right there he's got to let it go, and he immediately grabs it and knows something's wrong.
Representing Lithuania,
in the meantime, Savickas of Lithuania wins the axle press with 3 reps. Savickas has made his way to the top of the leaderboard, 2 points ahead of Nick Best in second. Terry Hollands has dropped to third. Benzel had to withdraw from the competition due to a torn right bicep. Botswana, home to the world's largest population of African elephants and dedicated to their conservation. We honor that with our 5th event, the Elephant Carry.
I have a shield at home that's 400 pounds. I went 80 meters with that shield, training to get ready for the elephant carry here.
Coming into this, I wasn't sure how much I'd push it, because whether I'm sort of 3rd or 4th, it wouldn't have made a lot of difference. It's going to be interesting. So hard to breathe when it's up high. Horrible event. With Olu getting injured as well, it made my decision sort of final just not to push it. And obviously I've saved a lot of energy there, which Peiman hasn't. For me at this point, it's just about, got to put myself in a bad position, just trying to do as well as I can and manage the situation as well as possible.
15 seconds, clear the area, begins now.
I don't get tired. Even at this age, I got a motor, I can still keep going.
There was no way in hell I was going to drop it. I knew with this event I'd be able to go as far as I needed to go. And I knew after I crossed that line, I was going to win the heat. Saw him coming, it looked like it was coming out. And it looked like he was holding on, just trying to get to that line, because that's where Peiman got it to. I knew. I just knew. I was just ecstatic. I was so elated, I couldn't control myself. It was like winning the Super Bowl, because it is so hard to get to the finals, and this is my second time, my 8th year coming. To do this at 48 years old is a pretty cool thing to do. My family gives up a lot, my son, my daughter, my wife. I couldn't do any of this without her. I just want to call Cali. I thank God for them, for allowing me to do this. It's getting hard. I'm sitting there thinking, should I step aside and let the younger kids come up and get a chance? And I'm thinking this is probably going to be my last World's Strongest Man because of work and stuff like that. And now that I'm just done that, maybe I keep going and tell the kids, I'm not going to step aside. You want my spot? You don't deserve it until you beat me.
Nick Best, the winner of the elephant carry with an impressive 71.33 meters. Peiman coming in second. A knee injury made Fadesire have to withdraw from the competition. Best comes out the big winner, tied with Big Z overall. But his winning the elephant carry gives him the automatic berth to the final. The remaining athletes go into the last man standing. We are at the foot of Cali Hill, where the remaining athletes of Group 5 will take on their final event of the qualifiers, last man standing.
I really like this event because 3 athletes will compete for 1 spot in the final. And they must do so by lifting an over 350-pound stone over a 55-inch bar. Now the athletes have 15 seconds for each attempt, and the winner advances.
First to compete, Hollands against Maheripour here. The winner of that round takes on Big Z for the win overall. Nick Best has already earned his spot in the final and doesn't have to compete here. We join the action in the first round. They both have already lifted it 6 times. Now Hollands gets his 7th attempt over, and here comes Peiman.
I gotta tell you, Brent, I've been really impressed all competition long with Maheripour here. He showed heart, determination, he's strong as an ox. And what's interesting, he's the first Iranian athlete to compete in World's Strongest Man since Reza Garay did it in 2006.
Meantime, Terry Hollands is a big-time veteran of the sport. Peiman trying to get the crowd involved and get behind him. Hollands has a nice rhythm going.
Peiman doing a nice job of returning serve and volleying back to Hollands as the big Brit goes here for his 10th attempt of this 352-pound stone over a 4.5-foot bar. This is grueling.
It's tennis with a massive, massive stone instead of a bouncy ball.
Some sort of cruel game of ping pong, or
how about a hot potato?
Super heavy hot potato from the medieval times. And this really is as much about want to and heart and determination as it is about strength.
And there's Big Z just kind of looking on, hoping that these guys continue to go after it and wear themselves down.
And certainly whichever one of these guys taps out first, as you see Terry Hollands going for his 12th attempt here, just can't do it. And I think it's going to be Peiman Maheripour here, who's got the privilege of now taking on one of the most successful strongmen in the history of this sport.
And having already lifted this stone double-digit amount of times. You want to talk about your back against the wall? This is case in point.
Remember, there's no quit in Peiman. We saw what happened to him in the Axles press, grabbed his abdominal region, but decided to fight through. Now, he didn't get any additional rep, but there's one thing for sure. The Iranian is tough as they come, and he won't give up till his body gives out.
Savickas looking on and watching Peiman struggle there. And he's out of gas. That's it. The fist bump and the win for one of the strongest men in the history of this sport. Žydrūnas Savickas is into the world's strongest man final.
So much power, the injuries, but the belly bump to get it up over. The old vet savvy with his techniques. And look at that smile on his face. Victory tastes as sweet as ever.
Nick Best and Žydrūnas Savickas will be the two men from qualifying Group 5 to enter the final. For Big Z, it's his 11th finals appearance. That's a world's strongest man record. The field is set. The 10 competitors making it to the 2017 Cordgenic's World's Strongest Man have been decided, with two four-time champs in Brian Shaw of the U.S. and Lithuania's Žydrūnas Savickas. A rivalry of the ages may form. But with all 10 competitors having been finalists before, the competition for the 2017 crown will be fierce. Great Britain's Eddie Hall, third place on the podium last year, has returned bigger and stronger than ever before, ready to knock out any opponent. The Georgian bull, Konstantin Janashia, a man with the heart and drive to win it all. Who will prevail? For Aaron Taylor and our entire crew, I'm Brent Stover. This has been a presentation of IMG Original Content.